like to introduce our feature presenter, Nathan Walsh. So Nathan holds a category in real estate at the moment, and this is his first feature presentation today. After starting out in residential sales, he has since moved into a more specialised field of property development, which he has great interest in. He now works as a project sales agent working on multiple low-rise, high-rise and all-rise property types across the expanding city of Newcastle. Nathan lives in Newcastle and his hobbies include networking, CrossFit and health. Nathan's key to success are giving time no matter what, making people remember your name and always going the extra mile. And now I'll hand over to you, Nathan, but before you start, can you tell us something that nobody knows about you?
Thank you, Deb. Thank you, members and guests. Thank you for being here today. So one thing people don't know about me is I love cards. So I'm a massive poker player for the last 5 years. When I was 18, I taught myself how to play, and since then I've calmed it down, but I used to play a lot of poker, and on the left there you can see all the different types of ones. So hold'em, high-low, low ball, 7-2, triple draw, all kind of card games. Euchre's a good one. I like euchre, but you can't play that for money really. So yeah, that's something I enjoy. So that's something that people don't know about me really. So who am I? What is my background? So I'm born and raised in Newcastle. I'm 22 years old, and at this point in my life, I'm just a boyfriend. I don't really have kids, dogs, house, anything yet, but it's coming. It's coming. And my education. So I'm a preschool graduate, primary school graduate, the high school graduate, so I got the triple threat there, which is great. I was the first person in my family to finish high school, so my kid will be the one that goes to uni, but so far I'm setting the bar. And then I'm a class 2 licensed real estate agent since I was 18. And my experience in real estate, so I've been in the real estate industry for about 5 years now, since I turned 18. And started out as a residential sales assistant. So usually in residential sales, when you're a kid, I guess, you basically just do all the grunt work. So letterbox dropping, door knocking, all the fun things. So I went through the ranks of that, and then I eventually worked myself into developments with a head agent, and that's where I learned a lot of the skills I have today. Doing that grunt work. When I was 20, I ended up going out to be a standalone residential agent. I did that for about a year, so that was a year prior to now. And the thing I ran into is a lot of people don't like trusting their $1 million assets with children, so I didn't do too well there. So since then, I've specialised in projects since I've moved to presence, and I've been loving it ever since. So it's a more of a specialised field. It's something I enjoy. You're more on the front foot, so people more come to you. So it's a lot more beneficial for me. So what is or who is Presence Projects? So we're a team of 3, and we're a sales projects team that specialise in off-the-plan marketing of predominantly units, but we also do townhomes, villas and land holdings across Newcastle and Lake Macquarie. Another side of our business is land acquisition. So what land acquisition is, which we'll go further into the presentation, is basically if you have a parcel of land, we find the developer and we acquisize both of them. The main thing we do as well, what we strive for in showing the most value in, is your feasibility and consulting for our developers and their future opportunities. So basically we can give you an idea of, is this a good idea or not? And we can go further into that later. So Presence Projects been around for about 20 years. So we used to be known as Newcastle New Projects, powered by Presence Property. And since then, we've completed over 60 plus projects around Newcastle and Lake Macquarie. We have a database of 200,000 clients that we talk to regularly, or we try to anyway, it's a lot of people. And we talk to about 650 active developers in the market at the moment. So marketing sites, helping them with their sites, everything in between. So what is buying off the plan? So buying off the plan, that's what the difference between buying off the plan and residential is. You're buying a property that's not yet constructed or completed, and typically you're using floor plans, renders, schedule of inclusions, dimensions to sell the property instead of, you look, feel and touch, more emotional buying that you see if you go through an open home of today. So what I wanted to outline is basically the advantages of buying off the plan. So the one thing that I run into as a residential project agent is, why should I buy off the plan? Why does it sound so scary? It's more just about your education. So our job is to basically educate our buyers to make an informed decision. So the advantages of buying off a plan is obviously you get a new condition property. So it's brand new, a purchase price discount. So what that means is because a lot of people aren't educated in the space, you're probably cutting the market in half with marketing to people that are looking to buy in your properties. So generally in off the plan, if the construction period still hasn't gone underway, it's usually around 10 to 15% cheaper than what it will be when it's already built, just due to the fact of construction costs, urgency in the market, competition, and just your overall price. Generally, if you get in early in the project as well, if you've got about 50 apartments to sell, if you're getting in the first 10, because there's so many still available, you're getting in at the base price, and as that number creeps up to only 5 left, that number usually increases due to the availability. So your builder's guarantee as well. This is probably the number one question I get asked, because in the market at the moment, or in the climate we're in, is builders are going bust. People are putting down money for buildings in years' time, and they're just getting stuck in contracts. It happens a lot, and it's just something you need to know. It's not a negative thing. It's just doing your due diligence. So the builder's guarantee. Now, a lot of people know at the moment your 7 years builder's insurance. So across the board, it's usually what people know. In high-rise buildings, so anything over 3 stories now, they've changed it to be more in the favour of the consumer. So it's actually more of an insurance bond. So instead of the builder guaranteeing 7 years, so in that first 7 years, if anything goes wrong with the building, you're covered. What we seen to happen was, people were making an entity, building a bit of a dodgy building, and when everyone moves in and buys the place, they'll liquidate, and then when something starts to go wrong, there's no one to really sue. So they've changed the insurance bond to where every sale that's been made in the building while off the plan, that there's a small percentage of the sale price that goes into a bond and then attached to the building. So if something doesn't go wrong for the first 10 years, you've still got all that money there, which is great. Advantages, design input. So if you get in early before the construction period, you can kind of move a few things around, not structurally, but for example, like NDIS providers, we can, variate an apartment for possibly wider doorways, lower handrails, door handles, stuff like that. And then a higher rental return just due to the fact that it's brand new. Your due diligence, so things you want to take into account when you're looking to buy off the plan is obviously the location, which is the main thing we look at, making sure everything's in an amenity area, walking distance, and you're not in the middle of, Wagga, I guess. Future performance, so, if there's more buildings coming up in the surrounding areas. So, you generally don't want to buy an apartment where there's, 50,000 coming up in the same area. Nearby buildings, this is massive in the city. So you hear a lot of people complaining when they bought off the plan and then a building comes up straight in front of them. So you definitely want to keep an eye out and educated on similar DAs that might be coming up in front of the building that you're looking at purchasing. Civil infrastructure, professional reputations. So the professional reputation is just knowing who your builder and developer is. So the new era of Newcastle. Now in Newcastle, there's been major changes in the last 10 years when I was 12. So there's 18 major high rises currently being planned in the city, or constructed in the city. So Newcastle Presence projects, apologies. We have about 9 of these high rise, low rise buildings. So there's about 5,000 apartments being constructed or planned in the next 5 years, due to the fact that there's migration and a lot of immigration coming to the area. So I just wanted to run you through 2 projects of ours, just a quick glance of the magnitude of these builds that are coming up. So this is a Bowline project. This is in Wickham. This is right next to the interchange, and there's 16 stories there. And what you see on the right here is what a floor plan looks like. So this is the main thing you'd be looking at as a consumer to buy off the plan. And then you've got a bit of a drone foot shot of what a view line will look like. And then you've got the biggest build that's actually in the Southern Hemisphere. So this is in Newcastle East, this is the East End Apartments. Now in the final release of the East End Apartments, there's 5 buildings coming up. And there's some pretty major apartments coming up that's gonna set the standard for the future. So this is a penthouse apartment in one of our 5 buildings in there. It's about 450 squares, 5-meter high ceilings. Does anyone want to have a guess on what this property is probably worth? Or what we have it on the market for? 5, 7, 15. So we currently have this property on the market for 22 million. So it'll be the most expensive apartment in the city to set the precedent for the future. So it's quite remarkable, and there's 2 of them as well. Yes. So the second part of our business is land acquisition. So what you just seen is a finished project. That's we're fully marketing the project. We've done all the lead work. This is more base stuff. So this is where you kind of start. So we have clients that have the land, and we can help them find a developer to purchase their property for them. So this is a parcel of land we have in Toronto. It's 3,600 squares, and it has a DA for about 16 townhouse apartments on it. And we can showcase that to our developers that we work with closely to give them an idea of future project they can look at buying. The second one, this is myself and Eddie are working on this in Dudley. So this is a parcel of land in Dudley that is just 300 squares. It wouldn't look like much to your regular consumer, but it actually has mud plans for a 4-bedroom home with a plunge pool. So it gives you a really good idea on what the opportunities that you could do with the land. And we showcase that to people to make sure that they know how valuable it could be in the future. So following into the third part of our business, this is our bread and butter. This is where we search for future business, and it's the feasibility. So the main 2 things that we can help with our developers mostly is your construction costs and your design feedback. Because at the end of the day, this is the thing that's the most valuable thing that you're looking at as a developer. They just number crunch. This is what you're looking at. You can build a beautiful home, but if it doesn't stack up and it doesn't make any money, what's the point? So the first thing is your construction costs. So we as experts in the field, we can help with the feasibility of how much it costs to build, how much you need to acquire the land for, and how much the resale could possibly be. Because some developers, they have designs from architects or town planners that have just whipped up a nice design, but we're actually on the front line of the market of what people are looking for. So we help with the design feedback. So for example, we had a complex in Mayfield where all the bedrooms were on the top floor and everything was downstairs. Now what we're seeing in the market is there's a lot of young families that would like the master bedroom downstairs and the kids upstairs, and those properties were selling for about $100,000 more because it was more preferred in the market. So we can help with that. Now where we help with feasibility in the process is we generally check on datracker.com. So anyone that's looking at doing a project has generally got a DA submitted that is to council. Now where we come in is these are public records. So we might go on the DA tracker on the council website and we go, hey mate, that's a nice plan you've got there. That's really cool. Can we help you assist, what it's worth? And they'll be like, oh mate, fantastic. Yeah, I'd love to know what it's worth. So we'll do a feasibility, let them know, what the construction cost is, what the resale value is, and we just give that to them as no extra charge. Like, mate, fantastic. And then they go, wait, that's awesome. And then we go, do you want us to, sell that for you? And they'll go, oh, yeah, that's awesome. So that's where we come in, and that's how we search for future business. We also have expertise in how the zoning laws can work for all your properties. So there's a few things that you want to take into consideration. So you got property zoning, high restrictions, easements, rail lines, flood zone, bushfire zones, mine subsidies. Now you can even get more intricate fire ant zones, just in case, koala biodiversity habitats, and wastewater pipes, just in case you want to know where those are. And that is all. So basically, just want to show where we show our value as a company, And my ideal referrals I'm looking for is, your investors for your finished product, your retirees with a 5-year plan, because some off the plan apartments aren't done for many years. And then on the back end with the land acquisition and the feasibility is your developers and your land holders on how we can show our value. The number one thing I also want to do as I'm getting further into my career is building those relationships with those spheres to make sure I can cover all angles. So everyone that's not in this room, so like architects, buyers agents, immigration lawyers, NDIS providers, and DHA living, so defence housing, is people that I'd love to get to know. And yeah, even if it's something small, please give me a call. I'm always happy to help. So thank you guys. Oh. There you go. Thank you.